ventricular systole early phase and the late phase, ventricular diastole early relaxation and late filling. Now coming to the first phase, ventricular systole. Here the ventricular contraction pushes the AV valve to close. Your AV valve is closed. AV valve, both mitral and tricuspid valve, both are closed, and your semilunar valve is also closed. So the initial part is your both AV valve, your mitral as well as aortic, tricuspid as well as pulmonary, all are closed. So the volume in the ventricle is going to be constant. That is very, very important. So the earliest phase is isovolumic contraction. The filled volume is called the end diastolic volume, because the systole is yet to start and the amount which remains in the heart is called the end diastolic volume. That is the beginning of the ventricular systole. It is initiated by ventricular depolarization, your QRS of ECG. Here the left ventricular pressure increases. The volume remains the same. As both valves are closed, your pressure increases. The volume remains the same and the valves are closed, and the volume, the ventricle is contracted in a closed cavity. So the left ventricular pressure opens up. And as I said earlier, both the AV valve are closed, mitral and tricuspid are closed, and the contraction is initially isovolumetric. These are all the changes which happen in the first phase of ventricular systole. The second part is called the ejection phase. Now, as the ventricular pressure picks up, it opens the semilunar valve, that is the aortic and the pulmonary valve. The semilunar valve open and the blood is ejected into the great vessel. The outflow valve is open. It correlates with the T wave of ECG. T wave initiates relaxation and causing the ejection rate to rapidly decline. As the blood goes up, the pressure comes down, and the residual volume which remains after ejection is called the end systolic volume. All the blood after ejection, what remains is called the end systolic volume. This is second phase, that is the ejection phase. Now coming to diastole. In diastole, the initial part, the semilunar valve is closed, your AV valve is yet to open. The tricuspid and mitral valve is yet to open, and the pulmonary valve and the aortic valve are also closed, but the blood from the systemic circulation flows into the atria. This is the early ventricular diastole. It's correlated with the T wave in ECG, and as the blood is ejected, everything, your ventricular pressure is reduced. It is getting reduced slowly. The outflow valve is already closed. That means the beginning of diastole, and initially it is isovolumetric. The volume is the same because both the AV valve and the semilunar valve are closed. Next comes the phase of late ventricular diastole. Here the ventricle is getting filled. As the atrium fills, the atrial pressure exceeds the ventricular pressure, left ventricular or the right ventricular pressure. So the blood from the ventricle, as the AV valve opens, fills into the ventricle. So the AV valve open when the LV pressure is less than the atrial pressure, and most ventricular filling, almost 60 to 70%, occurs before atrial contraction, and the maximum filled volume is called the end diastolic volume or the end of the diastole. Here the chamber relaxes and the blood fills the ventricle passively. That is very, very important, because active atrial contraction occurs at the later part of the ventricular diastole, which is the atrial systole. Here the atrium contracts and sends the blood into the ventricle. It is initiated by depolarization, which is P wave of ECG. It occurs near end of diastole. The atrial pressure transiently increases forcing additional bend to the ventricle. And there is very important point here. This atrial contraction contributes to 10% of ventricle filling at normal resting period. This atrial contraction during exercise contribute to 40% of the cardiac output. Or if you have a valvular lesion like mitral stenosis or something, the atrial contribution, which is around 10 to 15%, increases to 20 to 35%. So in any valvular lesion, if you have an atrial fibrillation and if you lose that atrial contraction, you might lose around 20 to 30% of cardiac output and the patient deteriorates fast. So in case of any valvular lesion, don't take atrial fibrillation lightly.